So it's beautiful in the park today. It's you can see there's like a fog above the snow, and it's a little chilly, but it's Martin Luther King Day 2026. And I go in the rec center, but they're closed. And all the Denver parks and rec centers close Martin Luther King. But I joined the Glendale Rec Center. It's a YMCA. And they're open on holidays. A reduced schedule, but just nice because you can see we've had snowfall over the evening. And there's no place to go. Everything's closed. And it's icy out, so you can't really work out outside. So kudos to Glendale that they stay open and allow people to work out. I don't know if this fog is showing up on the camera. I should have got it started when there were dogs out there. You couldn't see the dogs, just the leashes. And it's just a beautiful day. And of course, you know, this is Denver's most heavily used park, and there's hardly anyone here. It is very icy, but I'm on this path. It's more rough. These dogs are cute. That fog's really beautiful. I couldn't see your dogs out there, just the leashes. Look at those cute puppies. Oh, are they related? No. Oh, they're so pretty. And they're the white Goldens, right? Oh, beautiful. All right. I just think it's so beautiful.
It is. It's pretty looking back this way from out there as well.
All foggy. Yeah. Yeah, rarely do we have fog. So we got to appreciate it when we see it. It's a jewel. Have a good day. Bye, you guys. Look at them. Aren't they cute? Denver has one of the highest dog ownerships in the United States, and they ship dogs here from shelters all over the U.S. and the Caribbean and other places because we have the highest adoption rate, the lowest return rate on dogs and cats. People love their animals here. And I used to have 3 dogs. They've passed. I was spending $500 a month in dog walking because I was still working. And I actually have my neighbor's dog now a lot, you know, in my home, and I walk him a lot. And I always think it's better to share a dog. I mean, there's so much work. And that's basically what we do with my neighbor's dog. He's probably at my house 50% of the time. And he's a mixed pit bull mix. And I like to have him in my front yard so people think I have a dog all the time. And they're great, you know, protection. And even a small dog, you know, they'll bark to alert you. It's really a great safety feature to have a dog. There's people walking. It's just gorgeous here. Just always beautiful in the park every day. And it's just not used when the weather's poor. It is a holiday, but some people do have to work. I worked at a company. We didn't have MLK off. And then after Black Lives Matter, they were like, well, we should have that day off to show that, you know, we're in solidarity. And so then we got Martin Luther King Day off, but we never got President's Day off. And that's fine. You know, in Denver, it's better to have weekdays off now than it is to have the holidays and weekends off, because it's just the traffic, the crowds, it's just so much different. I was just thinking today, I used to live in Arvada, and as a college intern, I worked in Boulder, and I went to school at University of Colorado, Denver. And I used to drive to Boulder, then I would drive to Denver for class, and it was nothing to do that. It was easy. And then after I graduated, I used to go up every Thursday to the Neptune Mountaineering Show. It was on Thursdays. I think it started at 6. And I was good friends with Gary Neptune. And that was a great time. I used to rock climb and mountaineer a lot, backcountry ski, and it was a great life. And, you know, Gary sold his shop, and it's a great, you should go up there. It's in Table Mesa now, and it's a museum as well. A lot of mountaineering people donated their gear, and some people donated their frostbitten toes. And it's just a really interesting shop. Gary's doesn't own it. You know, he was always sharp, even when he was, I think I stopped contacting him when he was about 80, and always in great shape, sharp. I'm not sure what's happened to him, but every year he would close down the shop for, I think it was about 10 days, and maybe it was 5 days. I think it was maybe a week, and half the crew at his shop, he'd fund a trip to Snowbird, and then they would drive back, and the other half would come out for the Snowbird trip. And he invited me, and it was great, but that snow is so deep, and if you've never skied or snowboarded in outside of Salt Lake, highly recommend it. It was a great place to go. And I remember we were staying up at Snowbird, and there's hardly anyone there. And I said, wow, and the snow was incredible. And I said, I don't know why there aren't more people here. And they said, oh, an avalanche took out the main road, and that happened often. Oh, there's German Shepherd up here. I love the German Shepherds. I used to have a German Shepherd. Whenever I see a German Shepherd or Shiba Inu, because I had a Shiba Inu, I had 2 Shiba Inus, I think it's a great day. And German Shepherds are the best dogs in the world. So smart, so loyal, and people are terrified of them. I mean, everyone would cross the street when they'd see me, and she was the sweetest dog. She loved little tiny puppies and kitties. She just was so loving. I never met a happier dog. But she was very protective. I remember I was at a stop sign, and this drunk kind of started walking towards the truck, and the windows were rolled up, and man, she went ballistic, and that guy ran. And, you know, I guess they can be scary, but I pet all the German Shepherds I see, and they're just big babies. And we talked about that. They said, yeah, this dog's just a big baby. But they are protective. And it's just beautiful out. It's just a beautiful day, but you can see how icy it is. And I know, you know, for safety reasons, there's a lot of older people that won't come out. You know, the rec center's closed today. There's a rec center. And I keep emailing Jolon and the city attorney's office, and because my 1-year suspension for posting a video. So I posted a video. I posted it February 18th, and it was part 2. Part 1 got no reaction. But in part 2, I was talking to Officer Will Danos and Officer Rob Anderson. And I told them, because they said John Martinez called the police on me. And I pulled that arrest report. And he said I was trespassed. This was the arrest report for March 28th. I wasn't arrested on March 20th. Oh, this was February 14th. I wasn't arrested. Well, they called the police 4 times on me to arrest me in public. And the first 3 times they wouldn't do it. The police wouldn't do it. And March 21st, Officer Sanders said she can record in public and leave her alone. But, you know, Denver Parks and Rec, sore losers, are not going to give up. And the arrest report was John. I couldn't figure out who was calling. I thought it was John Martinez, but after I got the unredacted, isn't that strange? I asked for the arrest reports and they were always redacted. So people are calling to have me arrested and I can't even see who that is. It seems so unfair. But after I was arrested, I could get the unredacted report and I saw it was John Martinez and his birthday was listed. And you know, everything happens for a reason. And I couldn't really do a background check on him because John Martinez is such a common name. But once I had his birth date, I could run a background check on him. And so that was a good thing. But in that arrest report, he said I was trespassed. And I had never been issued a trespass, so he lied. And, you know, they're never held accountable. Look at how pretty it is. Beautiful. Here's a cute puppy. And so I posted a video February 18th, and I was talking to those 2 officers. Oh, what a cute puppy. Look at how cute that one is. You're a star. You're a star. And I called Martinez a criminal and told him what they did to Arslan Ghanay, my friend. John Martinez arrested him, had him put in jail, and for drawing marks that were already on the floor. He just darkened them. And Martinez refused to negotiate, wanted him to have a criminal record, just like he wanted me to have a criminal record. And I've been talking to some people. I talked to my friend Sam. He used to work for John Martinez and said everyone disliked him. You know, I was friends with Dodie. She hired him. Said that was the biggest mistake of her career, was to hire John Martinez. And then Sam talked about how they were tearing down a rec center. And he bought paint and they painted a wall with everyone's name. And the rec center was going to be torn down. There was no one in there. And Martinez came in and saw it and threatened to fire everyone and said they had to repaint that wall. And Sam's like, well, I'm not buying paint to do that. And so Martinez bought the paint and made them repaint the wall right before they tore down the building. Isn't that crazy? And then I met another pickleballer just yesterday at Gates. I was playing with my friends, and he always invites new people. I was talking to this man named Gary, and he was at Eisenhower when they were trying to talk about what to do about the outdoor courts. And he said John Martinez was there. And he said, you know, John Martinez hates the elderly and he hates pickleball. That's what Gary said, and that's what a lot of people say. You know, my situation started, I got attacked at La Familia, first by Gary Gaston. He's a wealthy white member.
Oh, okay,
Gary.
good. We need to, no, don't take a picture of me.
It's me, Lisa.
Don't take a picture of
Yep.
me.
And so remember when you attacked
I
me
would
at La
like to talk to you.
Familia?
I did not attack you.
Yeah, you attacked me,
You
and
are
then you
telling a
told me,
story.
Mary told everyone that
Ma'am, get away from me with that camera.
you're in public. There's no expectation of privacy in public.
Get away from the camera.
There's no expectation.
Do not.
Get away from me. You attacked me. Why are you a
Somebody
coward?
Please ask her to stop.
We're in public. We're in public. You're going to get arrested for assaulting me. You're going to get arrested for taking my property and assaulting me.
Please, somebody ask her to stop.
We're in public. You hit my arm.
DPR member. He lives in East Wash Park and he has a house in Texas, travels a lot. And because of the budget cuts, there was no one at the front desk. And I saw many rec centers at MLK, at Harvard Gulch, and at Wash Park. Empty rec centers. You just walk in. Of course, everyone's scanned, but there was no one there because they cut all the staff. They cut the lowest wage people, the people at the front desk. So front desks were empty. So after I got attacked, I left without reporting. And first of all, I got attacked because in all the rec centers, the players run the pickleball. That's in pickleball. The players run the games. They set up the nets. But La Familia didn't want pickleball. Jolon Clark forced it there. This is per Dave Lynch, who's a volunteer. And so Dave told me they didn't want pickleball, so they created his volunteer position. And when he was, hired in this volunteer position, they told him, we don't even want to hear the word pickleball. You run everything. So that's where they have problems, where they put one person in charge and they go on a power trip. And this happened at Wash Park Rec Center. Mark Varanzin, he used to be in charge there at pickleball, and he attacked a member, Debbie, my friend, and they fired him. He was a longtime employee. And that's what happens when you put one person in charge. They go on a power trip. And Dave would tell everyone who to play with. And it's in pickleball, the players decide, not one person who's not even playing. And so when I went out, I saw Miguel, and I said, I'm going to play with Miguel. And Dave said, no. Barb, who was the other person, and Gary Gaston, they're dating. They actually live together. They've been longtime partners. Gary and Barb are dating. That's what Dave said. And they'll fight if they play together because Gary's a hothead. And I'm like, well, I don't want to play with Gary, but Dave made me. And we were playing, and I always start at the kitchen line. And Gary started calling the balls on the far side. Out, in. And I'm like, let Miguel make the calls. And Gary started screaming profanities, charging me, saying he can make the effing calls. And I said, well, it's a rule. He goes, oh, you're making up effing rules. And he was just screaming at me, like just a couple feet from me. And then he stormed out of there. And then Dave grabbed a paddle. Dave witnessed everything, didn't intercede. And I have PTSD, so I was terrified. And Dave grabbed a paddle and ran out and said, I'll be your partner. And I should have walked out. And I was just too scared. And then we lost because I was shaking. I couldn't hit the ball. We lost immediately. And then I went up to Barb, Gary's partner, and I'm like, Gary, you know, Gary doesn't seem to know the rules, and, you know, that's a rule, Barb. And she's just laughing. She goes, I'm going to have to ask Gary what happened, even though she witnessed what happened. And so I left, and there was no one at the front desk. And then I told my friend Arslan about it, the one that they had arrested and put in jail. And Arslan said, Lisa, you have to report things like that. Any acts of violence, or they need it for their crime stats, and then they can put more money towards a rec center if they have problems. So I went in the next week to report it, and Dave Lynch, you know, the volunteer, pickleball, he ran up, he saw me at the front desk, he started yelling at me to get out of there, get out of there. And I kept trying to talk to Layla, and he kept interrupting me. And I said, well, you witnessed everything, and you didn't even intervene or do anything. And he said, I'm a volunteer, the rules don't apply to me. And I'm like, well, I think they do, your staff. And so then Mary called me out to play. Mary's my partner, so I'm playing pickleball. And we had been playing for about probably 5-10 minutes when Dave was just behind me with a big group of people I play with. And then he said, pointing to me, she got into it with Gary. And I just turned and I said, Gary attacked me. And then Dave came out on the pickleball court, stuck his finger and fist in my face, and started screaming at me, get out of here, get out of here. And that's all I remember, because, you know, I'm scared. I just remember him putting his finger and fist in my face, and I didn't remember anything after that. I froze, and I disassociate from my body. That's PTSD. So I go blind. I can't really, you know, understand what's happening. Sometimes I can hear, like, from a distance. It's hard to explain, but later I got the video, and he was pursuing me as I was backing up and around the court. And I don't remember that, but he was pursuing me with his finger pointing at me as I was backing up and around the court. And then Layla came out and got him to go to the front desk and sit. And then later, in a meeting with Leslie Picard and Julie Knoll, she was the supervisor at La Familia, they said I was fighting with Dave, and they were going to suspend me because I was fighting with Dave, even though I was playing an active game, and he came out on the court. And that started everything. And then Leslie Picard and John Martinez did suspend me 32 days. All rec centers, 30 of them. All Denver parks, 250. And I can't view a recreational activity, which is just crazy. You can't control where the eyes look. And I went back to La Familia on the sidewalk to record. And Leslie Picard came out, and she said, you're not allowed to be here. But I'm like, it's a sidewalk. And she pointed to the park across the street, Daly Park. And she said, you can't go into that park, Lisa. I said, okay, I'm going to walk over there right now. And she's like, call the police. And she wanted me arrested and trespassed for standing in Daly Park. Isn't that insane?
Sure, I'm Officer Danis with the Denver Police Department.
And I'm Lisa, and you're not going to violate my rights today, are you?
Violate your rights.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to the manager. If you're not welcome to be on their property, then you're going to have to leave.
Is this their property?
Yeah.
This is public.
Okay, I'm going to talk to him.
Okay, and let me
I'll
just
be right
tell you,
back.
I have
I'll be
a
right back.
suspension. She also banned me from the park across the street.
So Lisa, as long as you stay on the sidewalk, I think you'll be fine. And it looks like your suspension is going to be lifted, and you'll have access on June 29th. So.
I know, but you're not policy enforcement. You're law enforcement.
Right. So they'll push a trespass violation.
And I have to be breaking the law to be
Right.
trespassed in public. So she said I'm also suspended from this park across the street.
Okay.
So if I stand in that park, are you going to arrest me?
I think that you're fine as long as you're on the sidewalks.
No, it says any park in there.
Okay. So you've read through it and you understand what the wording is.
It says any park.
Okay.
But they cannot suspend me from a park.
Okay.
So if I stand over there in the park, are you going to arrest me?
I will ask them if that's something that they're wanting to enforce right now.
Okay, please do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
Ask them,
for
because
you.
she even said that's a park over there, Lisa. So
Okay.
yeah, ask Leslie if I stand in the park if she wants me arrested.
Okay. Leslie informed me that they are going to enforce park violations and rec center violations.
So if I stand in the park, I'll be arrested.
if they want to push the matter.
Can't be trespassed in public unless I'm committing a crime, or you suspect me committing a crime, or I did commit a
And
crime.
like I said, you're fine as long as you're on the sidewalk and
But-
you're not impeding
But I'm gonna
people from
stand in
entering
the
and
park, and
Okay.
you say that she wants that enforced.
right.
So that's what I want to do. I want to stand in the park,
Okay.
and you guys threaten to arrest me.
Well, there's no threats.
Oh, you will arrest me.
No. I'm not saying that you're gonna get arrested.
well,
I'm telling
see-
you that you've been banned from the parks, right? And from this rec center, and I think that some other rec centers too.
All the rec centers.
Yeah, from the word. So you've read through it and you understand
And they
it.
said I can't even look at a
Right.
recreational activity.
Right.
Can you trespass the ice?
I mean, you can't ban someone from a park. I mean, how is that enforceable? Are they going to have guards around all the parks? And how does that enhance safety in Denver? It's just retaliation. It's 100% retaliation. And they called the police, and Will Danos responded. And I kept saying, give me a trespass for standing in that park. And he's like, oh, Lisa, just don't go over there. I said, no, it's just so absurd. I said, I want to be trespassed for standing in a park. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, God, I would have had to retrace my steps. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Just lucky you're here because it's empty. Oh, that was nice. I dropped. Oh, look, there's a husky. I dropped my glove and oh, look, no, it's not a Shiba Inu. Might be a mix. Oh, my hands are cold. I don't have my gloves on. So, yeah, you can't enforce a ban of the park. There's 250 urban parks. I looked it up. And they gave me a suspension from all Denver parks. I mean, it's just insane. And it just shows the retaliation. And I pulled the suspensions for 1 year at Las Familia. And it was mine. And, 32 days at the time, all Denver parks. And the other one was a male. I think he might have been underage. He stole cash from a wallet on camera. And then the next week he stole a credit card and on camera. And the person who had their credit card stolen filed a police report. And he was on suspension from Montclair. So they gave him for 2 weeks. So they gave him 2 more weeks at La Familia. So he was on a suspension from 2 rec centers for 2 weeks for 2 on-camera thefts. I mean, can you see the difference? I don't do anything wrong. And I get suspended from all rec centers. I mean, I think I've only been to 5. And it's just crazy, just right away, the retaliation, the out of control anger, the abuse of power. And they think they're untouchable. And they are, basically, because nothing's happened to them. You know, everyone thinks, oh, it's easy to get an attorney. Really, an attorney only wants you when there's police brutality. And hopefully I can get an attorney because of John Martinez bashing in my garage door. That is, you know, pretty extreme. And I should be able to find an attorney. It's like a, no, it's not a Sheba. Well, the fog's gone out there. Earlier it was all foggy. I don't think you could see it on my video, but it was really cool. Couldn't see the dogs, just the leashes. And still continuing. You know, there's a 2-year limit on lawsuits, so I have to get an attorney soon. And I hope to get some more exposure. My friend gave me a media contact, so hopefully she'll do a expose on me. We'll see. And I appreciate all my supporters. You know, when I was in criminal court this summer and I had some health issues, I didn't post as much, and I'm friends with Susan Bassey. She's out in California, and she's a great civil rights advocate and great videos. And she's like, Lisa, you have to keep posting. And I just said, well, Susan, I'm not feeling well. You know, I worked full time, and I said it was just so depressing. I didn't know what was going to happen. You know, it was expensive, and I'm not going to get arrested again. Sean Paul of Long Island Audit says to avoid getting arrested. He said it's humiliating, expensive, and just try to avoid it. And then Lana from J-Town Press, she always leaves. She says, am I going to be trespassed and arrested if I don't leave? And when they say yes, she always leaves. And it's better to me not to get arrested. Some viewers say, oh, you got to push it and legitimize your auditing. But it's, you know, I lost my job and I could not get an interview with this on my record. So, you know, my circumstances did change. And I had asked my boss, because they had threatened to arrest me. I asked my boss, if I get a trespass, will that affect my job? And he said no. So that's why I accepted the arrest and trespass. But then I lost my job, and I could not get an interview with this on my record. And as some of you know, I went down, oh, here's something. I went down to report John Martinez bashing in my garage door, and they said there's no record of my arrest or trespass. And I was like, what? And I almost did go back to criminal court. I was like, well, if there's no arrest, I'm not going to go back. And luckily, I did go back. I was pro se at that time, and I kept going back to District 3. And I think everyone should do this once a year. Go down with your ID and ask you know, what's on your record? Because there was a disturbing the peace that was issued March 21st, and I had no idea that was issued. That was under my name I use, my married name, and that was Officer Sanders, and he would have never issued that because he said I could be there and record and to leave me alone. So I don't know how they just put things in your record, and then there was no arrest or trespass. And when I went back down the second time, I found out that they put the arrest and trespass under my maiden name. So I think they knew it was illegal to do this, and they put it under my maiden name that I haven't used for like 12, 13 years. I had no ID with that name, and I think they were trying to mitigate their lawsuit money, saying, see, well, we put it under here and didn't cause her any damage. But after I discovered it, they moved it under my married name. And then I lost my job. And since it was searchable, I couldn't get another job. And the disturbing the peace was removed. It's just crazy that they can put things in your record, take them out, make things up. And then John Martinez told Ranger Josh to issue me 2 citations for not IDing in public when I broke no laws. And I didn't have my ID with me, but I told Josh. Josh knew it was me, but I said my name, and he knew it was me. And these were never handed to me. And then I get a collections letter in July of almost $500, and they're going to ruin my credit. Unless I pay that money. And I wrote the law firm, the collections agency, and I told them what was going on. And I said, if you ruin my credit, I'm going to sue you because I did nothing wrong. And this is just retaliation. And I believe they backed down because I still don't have a strike against me on my credit report. But that's what John Martinez tried to do, is ruin my credit, bash in my garage, give me a criminal record, try to bankrupt me with my garage door, with my criminal defense. And I did nothing wrong. All right, I'm going to sign off. Give you one more look of a beautiful empty park. Thanks again for all your support. Talk to you soon. Bye.